Hello, my name's Leanne Butterworth, and I'm so glad that you can join me as I read an excerpt from my chapter in the new book, Women Making a Difference. I'm so excited to be part of this collaboration of these amazing women who are making a really positive impact in the world. So, my chapter is called Uncomplicating Empathy, a Guide to Making a Difference. And I run Empathy First, which is a social enterprise aimed to create a world where everybody feels heard, valued, visible, and safe. And we do that by running empathy training for leaders and teams and communities to really understand what healthy empathy is, why it matters, and how to communicate with empathy in a way that builds connection and doesn't burn us out. So I'm so glad that you're joining me as I read my chapter in the new book, Women Making a Difference. When it comes to empathy, we know it's something we're supposed to aspire to do or be. But if I asked you now to write down your definition, what would you write? You might jot down something about putting yourself in someone else's shoes or feeling what someone else feels, which might be positive or repellent. Empathy is a concept that we think is simple until we tie ourselves in knots trying to define it. We may think we know what it is, but we kind of don't at the same time. It feels complicated. And it makes perfect sense that empathy is hard to pin down. Even the origin of the word isn't straightforward. According to historian Susan Lanzoni, the word empathy only appeared in our language in the early 1900s and is derived from the Greek empatheia, from em, in, and pathos, feeling. The word also follows from the German word Einflumm, which similarly means in feeling, although it primarily related to objects of art and nature. Today's broad understanding of empathy includes the related concepts of sympathy, compassion, pity, emotional sensing, and taking on someone else's perspective. No wonder we're confused. I've also heard the perpetual misguided statements of, you're either born with it or you're not. Empathy is give, give, give. Empathy doesn't belong at work. Empathy is a weakness. I don't have time for empathy. Empathy leads to burnout. What do each of these statements have in common? Avoidance. As humans, when we don't understand something, we tend to avoid it. It feels easier that way. We avoid emotionally connecting with others, so we don't have to experience that uncomfortable feeling of emotional vulnerability. We avoid empathy to alleviate the pressure we put on ourselves to know exactly the right thing to do or say to make things better, thereby avoiding the risk of rejection or humiliation. We get to stay infallible. Simple. And I get it. Perfectionism is my default setting. My mother tells me that when I was in primary school, if I thought there was a chance I was going to get something wrong on my homework, I didn't even attempt the question. I thought I had to be right and perfect to be valuable. This defense mechanism aimed to shield me from failure, when in truth, it weakened my ability to connect with others. However, people don't emotionally connect with perfection. They connect with our humanity, our imperfections, our vulnerability. For me, empathy is something I've made an effort to learn, and I've discovered that it can be learned. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to you reading the full book and all of the amazing chapters. My name's Leanne Butterworth from Empathy First. If you'd like to find me, I'm at empathyfirst.com.au.